It's probably fair to say that most people at the moment have a lot more time on their hands. So a lot more people will be getting handsy. While there might be worries about a lockdown baby boom in 9 months' time, it may be that sex is one of the best ways to deal with our new living situations. Welcome to Life Top 5. I am John David. Sex is good for the immune system. In the middle of a flu pandemic, wouldn't it be good if there was some easy way of boosting our immune system? One study has found that sex does just that. Antibodies are our body's way of identifying foreign agents like germs and viruses. One of these, immunoglobulin A, is found in our saliva and mucous membranes and is a vital line of defense against cold and flu viruses as well as other pathogens. In those who have sex, it could help reduce the risk of sexually transmitted diseases. To test this, volunteers were quizzed about their sexual history and their levels of immunoglobulin A were measured. Those who had sex once a week had only a slightly raised level, but those who had 2 times a week had levels 30% above those who had no sex. Unfortunately, those who had sex 3 or more times per week had lower levels than those who had no sex at all, so try not to overdo it. Masturbation is good for the immune system. If you find yourself locked down alone, there is no need to fret. However, science has your back. It seems that masturbation can also have positive effects on the immune system. In one small study, male volunteers were asked to masturbate to completion while their blood was drawn. Not perhaps the ideal situation for an orgasm. But the study found that arousal and ejaculation both led to increases in the total number of white blood cells in the blood. White blood cells are key factors in how the immune system responds to pathogens. In particular, this research found that natural killer cells, NK cells, were activated. NK cells tell other cells to commit suicide, a process called apoptosis. If an NK cell contacts another cell that is infected with a virus, it tells that cells to undergo apoptosis. This kills both the infected cell and the viruses forming within it. So if you get the sniffles, there are 2 reasons to reach for the tissues. Sex is good for your heart, in women. A large study of people in later life has shown that a sexual relationship can have good health effects in older women. The study showed that a large proportion of older people report having a satisfying sexual relationship with their partner, though predictably men report having more sex than did the women taking part. Unfortunately for these men and their boasting of their prowess, the study concluded that those who have sex once per week were more likely to have an issue with their heart than those who had no sex at all. Having sex twice per month seemed to be best for older men. In older women, however, there was no correlation between too much sex and a worse outcome for their heart. Indeed, those who had sex more frequently, and better quality sex, were found to be less likely to have poor cardiac health. Reduces stress. The endorphins released by sex that activate opioid receptors not only reduce pain, they also modulate our responses to stress. When we have sex, then there is a very real reduction in the stress we feel. Since stress can be caused by changes in our lifestyles, worry about events, and confinement, there might be some people in need of stress relief right now. But endorphins are not the only hormones produced when we have sex. Sex releases oxytocin, which has been categorized by some as the love hormone. The feelings of connectedness after sex may be because oxytocin has been found to raise the levels of compassion we feel for other people. Sex is also a good way of exercising. While it may not be the most high impact or exhausting exercise available, well, depending on how you do it. All exercise is good for your health, and happens to produce more of those mood-enhancing endorphins. It makes you happy. Sex has many physiologically positive effects, but perhaps the most important is to mental positivity. One study of college-age students wanted to see what casual sex was doing to their mental health. Instead of finding many negative results, they found that any form of penetrative sex gave students a boost in terms of feelings of well-being and self-esteem. Not many people, it seems, were feeling shame after doing the walk of shame. Other research has attempted to quantify the positive effect of sex on us. When they compared the happiness of people having sex at least once per week and compared it to those having sex less than once per month, the difference was startling. Those having less sex were less happy. When you compare the happiness of those making $25,000 per year and those making $75,000, the difference in happiness was less than seen when comparing high and low sex groups. A little sex is as good for your happiness as a $50,000 raise. The glow of sex is not just in the moment either. People who have had sex in the last 48 hours are on average happier. So if you need to cheer yourself up, it could be time to go to bed.